So surprise, surprise, Kodak have put their film prices up again. It seems like this is a message that we're getting more and more over the past few years. And what I wanted to do today is look a little bit at what these price increases on film mean for film photography. And in 2023, is the film photography bubble about to burst? Now, there's no doubting that over the past 5 years or so, film photography has had an incredible revival. There have been more people getting into film photography, there have been more labs opening up around the country, there have been more places that are selling film, and more people are shooting with film. However, with these price increases and with the prices of film cameras going through the roof, is film photography going to start becoming more of a luxury and more of a premium than it ever has done before? Now, the first thing that I want to look at is the reason behind these film price increases, because obviously, as with inflation, you expect everything to go up a little bit, but the reason why these film prices have been going up and up and up, especially with Kodak, can be answered in this statement that was released by their Vice President of Film Production. So really, our strategy of being the last company standing in colour films, the last company making colour films in both consumer and motion picture, is paying dividends. We literally cannot keep up with demand. We need more employees. We're hiring. Our film finishing area, for example, we have grown from a 5 days a week, single shift operation a few years back, to last year we were 3 shifts, 5 days a week, and now we are a 24/7 operation. In the last 18 months, we've hired over 300 people across the film and chemicals floor, and we're looking to hire more. So from that, it genuinely looks like Kodak cannot keep up with demand. And what they may well be doing, and it sounds very much like he's saying this from reading between the lines of that statement, they're looking to price people out of buying film so that there's less demand, so that they can keep up with it, until they're in a position where they can actually meet with demand. It's quite simple, really. You put the prices up, less people buy it, and then you have to make less. However, is this going to have a knock-on effect, and are people going to come back if and when Kodak get their production levels up and can actually start producing film at the rate that it's currently needed? Now, my first video of 2023, I talked about the reason why I bought the Fuji X100V, and that I was buying this so that I shot less film in 2023, especially for kind of just my normal day-to-day walkabout shooting. If you add that to plugins like Dehancer, where you can apply film-based LUTs to your edits, there are different ways to get that kind of vintage film look from your images without having to go to the expense of buying a roll of film, getting that film developed, getting it scanned. I actually went into my local camera shop yesterday, Harrison Cameras here in Sheffield, and a box of 5 rolls of Portrait 800 was £110. That's outrageous. £110 for 5 rolls of Portrait 800. It makes it hard to justify shooting that unless it's for a job. I couldn't justify just shooting a roll of Portrait 800 for myself, because that means that even buying it in bulk, buying it in a box, you're paying more than £20 for the roll. You're then going to be spending at least £5 if you're just developing it and scanning it yourself, or at least £15 if you're getting it developed and scanned. That means that you could be spending £45 on one roll of film, which if you're shooting on something like the Mamiya RB, it's only 10 images. You're paying £4.50 every time you hit that shutter button. And that's a cost that I just cannot justify. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Whilst over the past few years we have seen several film emulsions disappear from the shelves forever, and yes, I'm looking at you, Fujifilm, there are also new emulsions that are being released all the time. Obviously, Cinestill have brought out their 400D, their 400 daylight film, for both 35 and medium format, and also I believe that they're looking to bring it to large format as well. And there are also lots of other smaller companies that are either bringing out brand new emulsions or that are reusing like old motion picture film and repurposing it. So there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. The biggest of these though, however, is also from Kodak, and that's Kodak Gold. Kodak releasing gold in medium format was a game changer for me. I love the colours of it, I love how versatile it is, but most importantly, it's half the price of their other film stocks. It's still at the moment £45 for a box of 5 rolls, and that for me is much more sustainable going forward. In fact, the next video that's coming out on this channel will be from where I shot 2 rolls of Kodak Gold in the studio, and again, I'm absolutely blown away by the results from a 200 ISO budget low-level film stock. So there is definitely positives to take, but also there are the negatives. Now, in terms of, is the film photography bubble about to burst? I don't think it is. However, I do definitely think that whilst there will always be the Willem Verbeeks and the Joe Greers of the world that will shoot rolls and rolls and rolls of film, I think for the most part, most photographers will be shooting less film this year than they have in previous, myself included, because it's just getting harder and harder to justify that cost. All in all, it comes down to what you want to do personally. For me personally, I will still shoot film for jobs. I'll still shoot film for certain passion projects, but I won't be doing what I've done previously, which is if I'm just going for a walk, I'll pop a roll of 35mm in one of my 35mm cameras, or if I'm going to be doing like a test shoot or something, I won't get the Mclean out and shoot 2 or 3 rolls of medium format, because I just can't justify it. And again, this goes back to the reason why I bought the Fuji X100V. With the fact that that has film simulations built in there, it scratches that itch for kind of nice, stylized, don't have to worry about them too much photographs when I'm just walking around. Now, no plug-in and no camera with film simulations will ever fully scratch that itch of film photography, and that's the reason why it's not the end of film photography for me, not by a long stretch. But it's just going to be a case of managing it. We are at the end of the day in a cost of living crisis. Things like shooting film for in your everyday life is a luxury that some people will not be able to afford. And I think that Kodak really need to think about what they're doing in terms of potentially alienating a portion of their customer base and just expecting them to come back if and when prices sort of level out. Then obviously they're not going to go down, but they may well level out once they've got production levels a bit higher. But I'm not so sure. But what about you? What's your opinion on the state of film photography as we enter 2023? Is it something that you're going to keep doing regardless, and you just accept that, as with all things, there is a price and prices do generally go up? Are you going to be continuing to shoot, but not at such a fast rate as in previous times? Or is this just the final straw for you? Yet another price increase? Is that the end of film photography and you'll sort of scratch that itch a different way? I'd love to find out. Let me know down in the comments. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.